The hottest sports cards in the last 7 days. Team, I'm Coach Co. Welcome to Sports Cards Pro. I am very excited to show you guys what the top trending sports cards are by sports card category over the last 7 days. We're going to jump on over to our Sports Cards Pro website here. Alrighty, so we are going to go over to the tools feature. Over here, as you can see, we've got premium features, tons of them. I should mention right now that these premium features cost $6 per month. Now, because you are a member of this channel, because you've hit the subscribe button, because you've fallen upon this video, you have the opportunity to watch the sales volume data feature absolutely for free. So we're giving you some value here. That being said, let's jump into it. Boom, sales volume data. We are on basketball, and Nikola Jokic's 2015 Panini Prism is near the top of the list. Finally, this man has won 2 MVPs. Should have won a third, in my opinion. He is on track to win Finals MVP. The Denver Nuggets are up 3-1 in the NBA Finals to the Miami Heat. It looks like he might just bring a championship to Denver. And as you can see, I mean, we're approaching close to the all-time high for this card. So all-time high for this card is $258.20 back in peak pandemic times, March of 2021. As you can see, it has been getting gradually more expensive since December, and we're at about $192. So it still has a little bit of ways to go. It's entirely possible it might break through in the next coming weeks. PSA 10 copies are going for $925. 9 5s are going for $385, and a 9 is going for $288.79. Alrighty, folks, we're going to go into our next category. Boom. Baseball, and Elly De La Cruz tops this list. I love this. Elly De La Cruz was called up last week, hit an absolute moonshot. I think it was 458 feet. He has quickly jumped the rankings in terms of the Rookie of the Year voting, which is kind of crazy because he's literally only played like 4 games. His Bowman Sights on September and Bowman Chrome Shades of Greatness seem to be the ones trending the most right now. 142 sales over the last 7 days. This is an insert, a prospect insert in the Bowman set. This card was selling for about $1.41 back in May. It's all the way up to $4.76. So about a 4x, literally just from getting called up. So, I mean, if you guys aren't familiar, this is kind of how the prospect game works with baseball. That generally speaking, the play is to buy before you sell on hype. And chances are, prices might never return to this hype again. Just me talking about past experiences. Do whatever you wish with these cards, with your cards. Buy what you like, hold what you like, sell what you don't. All right, team? We are going to go into our next category, and that is football. We have Kenny Pickett tops this list again, always. Let's go down to this Patrick Mahomes, because I find it kind of interesting that Patrick Mahomes is trending during the offseason. Perhaps people are starting to realize that football season is a mere months away, and they're forecasting what's going to happen this season. I mean, as we know, Patrick Mahomes just came off another Super Bowl. I mean, what can we say? What can we not say about Patrick Mahomes? I do believe that they also visited the White House last week, so that actually might be one of the reasons why this is trending. 29 sales over the course of the last 7 days. This is his Donruss, so not the optic. The all-time high for this card was $324. As you can see, again, back in March of 2021, you're going to see that with a lot of cards, because that was where everyone was just buying and for crazy prices. But like I said, I mean, we're at $210. It's not crazy far off. And I mean, it is kind of crazy considering the fact that he just won another Super Bowl. So he's actually, these prices are more, or this price would probably be more justified, but that's just how the market is sometimes. PSA 10 copies, $955. 9 5s are going for about $500, and 9s are going for $322. I will say there's a massive price discrepancy here with a BGS 9.5 and a PSA 10. Might be something to look at and potentially corrects itself You'll see that a lot, actually, and truthfully, it doesn't make any sense because they're both gem mint copies. Just my 2 cents. We're going to go into hockey, and we are going to check out a Mr. Yuri Slavkovsky. So this is the past first overall draft pick of the Montreal Canadiens. Generally speaking, Canadian hockey team cards sell fairly well. I'm actually surprised that I don't see Matthew Tkachuk higher on this list, but we did feature him last week. 16 sales of this Slavkovsky card. This is his Young Guns. If you guys are unfamiliar with the hockey card market, Young Guns tend to be the most liquid, and as you can see, they tend to sell the most as a result of this. Ungraded copies are going for about $45, which, you know, hasn't really come down too much from the initial debut of $50, which is another thing I find kind of interesting about this. PSA 10 copies are going for $185, 9 5s, $131, and 9s are just above the raw price, which again doesn't really make much sense to me. You could realistically grab a PSA 8 of this card, which, I mean, some of them, if you've seen the quality control, are not great. So it's just, I find it so interesting that a graded 8 copy is half the price of an ungraded copy. Something also you should consider. All right, team. Next up, we've got soccer. And I have a feeling that some Man City players might be high on this list. And sure enough, they are. So we have Erling Haaland. We got Alex Morgan on this list. Haaland. We're going to dive into Haaland again. And this is because Man City is in the Champions League final. They actually just won the Champions League yesterday when we're recording this video. I will say that you're probably going to see even more Man City cards tops this list in the next few weeks. Man City just won their first Champions League. They just won the treble, which means that they won 3 trophies in one season. A very, very difficult feat. If you watch soccer, you know how difficult that is to do. And this was a historic team. So as a result of that, I think that there's going to be a lot of sales in the coming weeks. His net Marvel card was selling for $4.75, and it's now $2.78. But there's a ton of volume on these things. I think it's because they just came out, and people might like the fact that, you know, this is a pretty unique looking sports card. He's in his Norway kit as well, which usually is a bump up for soccer. All right, team. Next on this list, we've got UFC, and Hasbulla still dominating this list. We're going to jump into another one, though. Paddy Pimblett. This man has a ton of personality. This is a red disco, and out of the select UFC, ungraded copies were going for about $200 back in September, and peak Paddy hype, as you can see, they've definitely tapered off down to about $40.61. I've said this before. When a product first comes out and when a guy is in the news, it is probably the worst time to buy a card. As I said, buy whatever the heck you want. I'm just trying to give you guys pretty standard facts. And there's some FOMO that happens when a product first comes out. When a player is that hot, you're like, I don't want to miss the boat on this guy, or I really like this guy. I would honestly suggest just giving it a few months. Just wait a few months. If you still feel strongly about this guy or this player, or that card, double back and see where it's at. And I'll tell you that majority of the time you'll be able to buy it for cheaper. I literally just saw this happen with Erling Haaland. Yeah, his rookie cards are actually down versus like a year ago, despite winning a Champions League, which is like the epitome of what you want to do in soccer, right? So it's sometimes the market just doesn't make sense. Just remember that people are, I don't want to say impulsive, but they are, right? Like they're going to make moves based on emotions. And so if you can kind of remove some emotions from this process, you'll actually be able to buy what you like, and it'll be significantly cheaper. And in the case here, it's literally 5 times cheaper. So just another tidbit for you guys. Team, last one, wrestling. Hulk Hogan topped this list. Roman Reigns, his 2013 Topps WWE card, 7 sales in the last 7 days. This card is approaching all-time highs. This card is at an all-time high, actually. Very cool. I love seeing old school wrestling cards. 2013, I say that's old school, but it's old school because it was one of the first Topps releases, if not the first, actually. And Topps no longer, well, they're making wrestling cards now, but they weren't for quite some time, right? So I like seeing earlier stuff pop off. This card was $39.99. It is up to $57.77. PSA 10 copies are going for just shy of $300. Again, that massive discrepancy between the BGS 9 and the PSA 10 with $127.40. Graded 9s are $86. Graded 8, if you were going to grade this card raw and it graded an 8 or a 9, you'd most likely be down in terms of, you know, how much money you've put into this card. So because it is an older card, it's about 10 years old now. If you wanted to buy this card, I would personally suggest buying the grade, unless you have the copy in hand and you're like, this is a pretty pristine copy. All right, folks. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, comment, share this with a friend who needs some more information in order to instruct their buying and selling. I will say as well, stay tuned for more giveaways. We actually just ran one, and the results of that will be in the last video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Coach Co and Sports Cards Pro are out of here. Peace.